What really separates our assembly is just the powerful music.
Kids have a lot of respect for people that are talented in those areas. I mean, they walk around school 90% of the time with earpods in their ears, so that's how they communicate.
So a key part of our assemblies is actually towards the end. We always like to invite some students down with us to dance with us on the gym floor. This student in particular came down and started dancing with us and a couple of the teachers. And he was one of the quiet kids. He didn't really talk much in class and stuff, and all of a sudden, he does a backflip. And the teachers approached us after that, and they're like, I didn't even know that kid knew how to backflip. It just goes to show that our assemblies and the music, it really brings people out of their shell.
I see a lot of smiling kids come out of this today, and some kids responding that I never knew would respond to something like this. In front of their own peers.
I've gotten countless amount of DMs from students just messaging me saying how the song Rise has really impacted their life. And during my presentation, I actually talk about what I want to rise from in my life, because I know that if I'm going to be vulnerable with them, that they can be vulnerable with themselves.
Not only do you guys put on a good performance and a fun show, you also have a message behind your music and the way that you tell your stories in between your songs and what your songs represent. Some of those stories really relate to our students.
We like to build personal connections with as many of the students as possible, and that means sitting with them at lunch or spending time with them and making them feel like they're valued, because a big part of our message is that you matter and that you have value. I feel like a way to really drive that home is by showing them through our actions, and to spend time with the students and to really, really make them feel like we value them, because we do.
We'd love to connect with your students because we care about your students so much.
It was so cool to see Jess and Mike come down and eat lunch with our kids and not be above hanging out with them, but we had tons of autographs, tons of business cards. Kids were excited, running up saying, look, I got a card, look. And they're just so intrigued. And like I said, Jess and Mike are just Class A individuals, and we're glad we had them out.
I've had so many girls open up to me about struggling with suicidal ideations and how it really helped them. I even had one girl open up to me, and we talked for probably 30 minutes after an assembly, and she was talking to me about how she felt like she didn't matter and how she was going through all these things in her head and how she just didn't tell anybody. And that day I was able to walk her to the counseling office.
One of the biggest challenges in education today is we're not only educating academically, mental health is a huge deal in schools today. And it's hard for a kid to focus on algebra when they don't feel good about themselves.
I want to ensure that every student knows that they are cared for and that they are loved.
I've also received messages from students telling me that if it weren't for us coming to school that day, that they would have taken their life.
Being able to affect a student's life like that makes it all worth it.
Hearing that kind of stuff is why we do what we do.
The message was very powerful and motivating, inspirational, and I loved seeing the kids up, moving, excited, and they had so many great things to say about your messages. So to me, it was phenomenal.
A lot of speakers leave kids feeling bad at the end of it. There was a really good feeling at the end of this assembly, and left the kids feeling good about themselves.
It's a wonderful program. They do a great job, and the kids really enjoy it.
I would just say if any school can invite you guys in, do it. To me, it's life-changing. It is. Every kid needs to hear this message.